as also the result of all the spiritual disciplines of the Master. In fact, she inherited the richest spiritual wealth without any corresponding conscious endeavor on her part. And in addition, she learnt how to look upon all beings as manifestations of the Universal Mother. The Master too felt himself quite at ease after discharging the highest duty to his partner in life. The mother continued to share the Master's room for about 6 months more, even after this ceremony. This was not for her, however, an unmixed boon, for not being fully familiar with the divine moods of this unique personality, who constantly got lost in trances and raptures, she off and on spent sleepless nights sitting by him and anxiously watching the startling, unfamiliar physical changes. Words can't describe, she said, the spiritual states in which the Master remained merged. Often in his divine ecstasy, he would be talking of many things. Sometimes he would laugh and sometimes weep, and sometimes he would be totally lost in trances. This went on for the whole night. How deep a fervor it was, and what an absorption! My whole body trembled at the sight, and I waited eagerly for daybreak. I did not then understand much of divine afflatus and ecstasies. One night, seeing his samadhi continuing interminably, I began weeping in fear and called on Hridaya with the help of Kali's mother, the maidservant. He went on repeating the Lord's name in his ears, till after quite a long time he returned to the conscious plane. Learning next day that I suffered from this kind of fear, the Master himself taught me, if you notice such a kind of mood in me, then utter such a name, and if such another, then this other bija, mystic symbol. After this, I was not so afraid. He regained consciousness when those names were uttered. Quite a long time passed in this way, and then, as he came to know one day afterwards that in apprehension of his moods, I sat up for the whole night and could not sleep, he asked me to sleep apart at the Nahabat. But wherever she might be, whether in the Master's room or at the Nahabat, she considered the service of the Master and his mother to be the one duty of her life. The old lady was then too feeble to move about freely, and so she depended much on the Holy Mother, who was well aware of this. Hence, whenever the old lady called her, she rushed to her side. If anyone warned her that by such heedless dashing she ran the risk of striking her head against the low door frame, she would reply, "What if I do? She is my superior and my mother. Alas, she is old. If I don't hurry up, it may inconvenience her, and so I run." The old lady then lived upstairs and the Holy Mother on the ground floor of the Nahabat. Equally wholehearted was her service of the Master. The companionship that she had through this medium of service she considered to be a fortune for herself. The communion through service was not confined to the physical plane alone. Whenever the Master came down to the conscious plane during this period, he was swayed by a feeling of womanliness within himself, so much so that he considered himself, as also the Holy Mother and others, as the maids or handmaids of the Universal Mother. The Mother then clothed and adorned him like a woman, and felt elated at the thought that just like the Master, she too was a maid of Kali. Again, she asserted no independence and showed no self-will in this act of service. She felt satisfied by doing the little the Master wanted, and that in the manner he favored. A year after the Shodashi worship, the mother fell ill. Sri Shambhunath Malik, had then succeeded Mathur Babu as a supplier of needs, Rashoddar, as the master put it, for the master. He called Prasad Babu, a physician, to treat her, but there was no relief. Realizing that then at Dakshineswar she could not be of no use to others, and that on the contrary she would be adding to their anxiety, she left for Jairambati. Chapter 5. In a mood of self-surrender. About a year after the Shodashi worship, the Holy Mother returned to Jairambati about June 1873 and visited Dakshineswar for the second time in May next year. In the meanwhile, Kamarpukur and Jairambati were subjected to two grievous losses. In the second week of December 1873, the master's elder brother Rameshwar passed away. Next year, on the Holy Ramanavami day, that is 26th April, the Holy Mother's father, Ramchandra Mukherjee, who was a staunch devotee of Sri Rama, breathed his last. That was a stunning blow to the Mukherjee family. The incident was all the more poignant because it happened just on the fourth day after Uncle Kali Kumar had been invested with the sacred thread. To the Holy Mother, who was the first child of her father and had his affection in abundance, the grief was unendurable. And soon after, she left for Dakshineswar perhaps to free herself from that poignant grief. The extreme indigence of the Mukherjees might have had something to do with hastening this departure. The bereaved family had no money on hand. The boys were all very young. Priestly service, which was a source of supplementary income, had become closed for the time being. Farming suffered because of lack of proper supervision. Though Ishwar Chandra, Ramchandra's brother, earned something through priesthood in Calcutta, he had not much to send home after meeting his personal expenses. Finding herself in such straitened circumstances, Shyama Sundari Devi became despondent and in utter helplessness proceeded to maintain the family with physical labor. The Banerjees of the village were better off at that time. Shyama Sundari husked their paddy in her own house in return for 1/4 of the rice produced. In giving some idea of her toil, she told Indumati Devi, one of her daughters-in-law, "Leaving the rice boiling on the fire, I went to Shia to get vegetables. I cooked simultaneously on 16 ovens put in a row, all for a potful of boiled rice and a basketful of uncooked rice. Even then, she could not earn enough for feeding the family and educating the boys. Accordingly, the boys took shelter in the houses of relatives in neighboring villages. Prasanna went to Jipta, Varada got shelter in the house of Hare Ram Bhattacharya at Shihor, and Abhay went to his maternal uncles in the same village. The Holy Mother, perhaps for the same reason, went to Dakshineswar, where she took shelter in the Nahabad along with her mother-in-law. Dakshineswar of those days was an unhealthy place where dysentery prevailed during the wet season. The mother suffered from it soon after her going there. Shambhu Babu arranged for her treatment, but she did not recover quickly. Nevertheless, the Holy Mother did not leave the place, for that would deprive her of the opportunity of serving the Master and his mother. She continued there for a full year, although still ill. At last, when she was a little better, she left for Jairambati, probably in September or October 1875. But the dysentery returned a short while after, and it took such a serious turn that she became bedridden. Nay, her life itself was in danger. When the master got news of her sad condition, he said sorrowfully to Hridaya, What is it all coming to, O Hriday? Is she destined only to come and go and not do anything worthy of a human birth? During the period of relapse, the mother had to go out again and again, and her body was very weak and emaciated. She laid herself down on the bank of the pond, Kalugedi. Once, when she saw in the water of the pond the reflection of her body reduced to skin and bone, she thought, "Bah, fie on it. This indeed is the body. Why fuss about it? Let it lie down here. Let me leave it." In later days, she said, "I was ill then. The whole body was swollen, and liquid matter flowed down from the nose and ears." Umesh, a brother, said, "Sister, there is Simhavani here. Will you make a vow of fasting before her?" It was he who made me agree and led me by the hand there. To me then, a full moon night was as dark as a new moon one. I had lost sight through continuous tears. Going there, I lay down on the basement of the shrine. To crown all, I had the dysentery. 3 or 4 times, I had to crawl on all fours to go out. There was a woman whom I called godmother. Her house was near at hand. She cleared her throat off and on so that I might not get frightened. A little while later, she, that means the deity, appeared to my mother in the form of a blacksmith girl of the age of Radhu, 12 or 13 years old, and said, "Go quick, hasten, raise her up and bring her. Give her this medicine. This indeed will relieve her." Besides, she said to me, "Apply to the eye drops of juice of the gourd flower made into a paste with salt. That will relieve you." Then I took the medicine that mother had received and applied to the eye drops of juice of the gourd flower. As soon as I did so, all the foul matter fell off from the eyes. The eyes were cured that very day, and the swellings in the body subsided. I felt greatly relieved. I recovered. To every enquirer, I said, "Mother Simhavani gave this medicine." From that time on, the mother's fame spread around. That means Simhavani's. I got the medicine, and the world also was blessed. Formerly, nobody knew the mother so much. My uncle made a vow of fasting before the mother, but she let loose so many big ants that he was not allowed to stay. She appeared to my mother in a dream and said, "I am now in sleep. Why has he taken the vow of fasting now? He is a Brahmin. Does he not know all this? Go quick, hasten, raise him and bring him." My mother said, "You have said so many things. Why shouldn't you have refilled the medicine also?" The gods and goddesses sleep for 6 months following the summer solstice and keep awake for 6 months after the winter solstice. When life was despaired of, the mother came round miraculously by taking refuge in the goddess. Humanity has here a demonstration of the infallibility of divine intervention, though it is not possible for all to rely absolutely on it. Only those like the Holy Mother, whose hearts are full of devotion, succeed in this. But if the deity can once be made propitious through the supplication of such rare souls, weaker persons can share in the good fortune. The Holy Mother had a lifelong and incomparable devotion to Simhavani. With full faith, she took some earth from the basement of the shrine, kept it in a case, put some of this in her mouth now and then, asked her niece Radhu to do so, and related the legends of her greatness to others. Encouraged by the mother's success, others too offered vows to the deity and got their wishes fulfilled thereby. This, as also the efficacy of that earth in curing diseases, spread the fame of Simbhavani all around, drawing even to this day numbers of pilgrims to her shrine. This is a very beautiful passage from the life of the Holy Mother. We saw in the last chapter, which was titled The Great Awakening. Master made Mother feel that she was not an ordinary woman. As and when the chances came to him, he was reminding her of her greatness for what she was born for. And in that way, he was trying to keep up the momentum in Mother's life, as we see that whenever Master came to Mother and started speaking to her, and he brought the wonderful motherly qualities of the Sarada Devi, and he expressed that that should be emphasized. So she stayed with him even after as in the last week we saw how the Shodashi Puja was done. So after the puja was done in Dakshineswar, Mother stayed with him in the same room for another 6 months. And that was the time she saw the different spiritual moods of the Master. The moods of the Master were so variable that she couldn't know sometimes what to do. Sometimes when she was looking at him in the mid of the night, she suddenly gets up and sees that he is weeping. Why he was weeping, she could not understand. Sometimes he was crying. Sometimes he was in tears. Sometimes he started laughing so loudly, and the laughter goes on for some time. So the different, and sometimes he is sitting for meditation and he was completely unaware or outer consciousness, completely out. So that type of different kinds of moods she could see. Particularly in the night, she became very, very afraid to stay in the room because she felt that he is dead or what. How to bring him back to normal consciousness? That was a big problem for her. So she called Hriday and asked Hriday, can you tell me what to do this? Instead of asking the Master, she went and asked Hriday, because Hriday knew all this, because he was all the while he was with him. Then Hriday said, oh, that is very easy. When that happens, you call me. And when it happened one day night, so she called him and Hriday came. And he started telling some of the bija mantras, not the entire mantra, only the bijas. So here we must know what is bija. Bija means, in Sanskrit the word bija says, in English we translate as seed. So as we are all doing the gardening work today, Basil has been doing wonderful work. Yes, every Saturday is coming. I only feel that you must have some assistance also.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's asking for assistance.
Yes.
It's not every Saturday,
Okay.
Maharaj, I
Okay.
can assure you.
I am so happy to see. At least 2 Saturdays I saw you consecutively. Yes. So you are able to come and say, you know what is seed. Seed is that thing which contains the final growth of the plant. If you see a very big tree, and then you see where the tree was earlier, then you must say the tree was lying in the seed. The growth of the tree happens in the seed. So the seed is the container where the growth potentiality remains. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, we are all potentially divine. Means what? So we are all like seeds. So that divinity, potentiality is there. So it can now manifest and it can become a big plant or a tree. So this bija, likewise in mantras also we find all the mantras merging Gayatri mantra, Sri Ramakrishna says. And the Gayatri mantra itself merges into Omkara, that is Om. So Om is a one-lettered syllable, no? That is called.
That's also a mantra.
Is a mantra. Om itself is a mantra, and everything goes into it.
And the Gayatri mantra, that is also a Bij mantra.
No, that is
That's
not Bija mantra. That is a mantra.
Okay.
So all the mantras end in Gayatri mantra, and Gayatri mantra again gets dissolved into Om. Now, the Bija mantra is that mantra where the entire mantra is kept in one particular syllable of the alphabet. So when you read it, it merely means, it will just look to us, an ordinary person who doesn't know the secret of the Bija mantra will think it is one of the alphabets of the language. That's why, say if you say cream, it's one of the alphabets. So Ka, Ra, Ma, these three put together, cream, it has come. Like that clean, like that Hreem, like that Shreem, like that you can, many mantras are there. So these are all alphabets put together. So they are all nothing but alphabets, like that we may think. But in Tantra literature, this Bija mantra has become a very big important potentiality is that they found it. That's why they called it Bija. Bija means seed, you know. So once, when it is a seed, when it starts growing, getting the proper congenial atmosphere of land, of air, of sunlight, of water. These are the four things you need for the seed to sprout. So when all these things are congenial, then the seed put inside the land or the mud, then sprouts. So the Bija mantra also likewise, that one day as you do the sadhana of japa again and again and again and again, then what happens is suddenly one day it will manifest, it will sprout up. So when it sprouts, slowly, slowly, you will understand the meaning of it. Some people ask me, how is it that, what is the meaning of this mantra, they ask. Suppose Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya, Om Namo Vasudevaya, we say. Or also Om Krishnaya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya. There are hundreds of mantras are there. But then, suddenly you go and ask somebody, what is the meaning of the mantra? So you look at you, the Guru will look at you. The mantra's meaning will manifest within you when the bees sprouts up and starts growing. So, is there any literal meaning of these mantras? Yes. Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha. What is the meaning of the mantra? That I bow down to Narayana. I bow down to Shiva. Like that you can say the literal mantra meaning. But then that is not the meaning at all. There is something behind that. The meaning will come much later when you start doing japa of that constantly, and it becomes a habit with you. At that time only the mantra starts coming out. It is like that. How we do not know the meaning is because I used to tell the children, how to explain this concept. So I say, if I ask a 5th class boy, what are you doing now? He says, I am doing mathematics. And in the next room, his elder brother is sitting. I go and ask him, what are you doing now? He is telling, I am doing mathematics. Both are doing mathematics. One is doing mathematics in PhD. He is doing PhD in mathematics and he is doing his homework. And another is 5th class boy. He is also doing mathematics. But both of them they say, we are doing mathematics. But do the levels are same? Anybody can say, no, the levels are not same. 5th class boys is much, much lower level and the PhD man's level is much higher. In the same way, in the spiritual life also we find, as you practice japa again and again and again, then the meaning of the mantra automatically flashes and the meaning of the mantra changes. 2 years after your initiation, what you understood, the meaning of the mantra, may change after 20 years. So, because it's like a mathematics subject, the subject advances. So likewise your understanding also becomes more clear and it is progressing. So likewise the mantras also have got that potentiality. And because the potentiality is there in that particular syllable, it is called bijas. So Sri Ramakrishna, when he used to go into Samadhi and is unable to come back to the normal consciousness, some external help is required. Somebody has to go to his ears and then go on telling the bijas, and then slowly his mind comes down. So that is one of the way. So Sri Ramakrishna understood that. When he heard from Hriday that this is what one day it was done, then he told, don't worry, don't be afraid, I will teach you the bijas. So he taught her at what position, if I am there, what she should do to bring me back to normal consciousness. So that was a great secret. And mother knew lot of things about spiritual, particularly mantras, etc. from master. That's how master taught her one by one. How wonderful it is. She learnt many things from him. And she did wholehearted service to him, and also, not only to him, and also to the mother of master, who was staying at the Navad. So she used to go there and do all the service to the mother. And her service to master at that time, it was something unparalleled. She says that whenever the master came down to the conscious plane, he was swayed by a feeling of womanliness within himself. So much so that he considered himself, as also the Holy Mother and others, as the handmaids of the Universal Mother. That is one of the beautiful aspect of Master's life, you see, that he himself considered as a woman. That means womanly natured person. Like that he starts thinking himself. So when he does the puja, when he goes to the temple and he thinks, I am the handmaid of Divine Universal Mother, who is Mother Kali. I am the handmaid of Mother Kali. So the womanly bhavas used to manifest in him, and people around him, particularly women around him, they would not feel any difference. That's why he could go into any house, interior part, where all the women were sitting, and he can go and seated there and talk to them, and none of them would think a male person has come there. They all would feel that he is a mother-like person has come. So that was the beauty of Master. He could manifest those womanly qualities, that is motherly qualities. And then she was very much well trained in that. Now the next chapter we are going, fifth chapter, is called In a Mood of Self-Surrender. Here Gambhiranji is going to explain to the further some of the incidents that we find how Holy Mother, though she is progressing spiritually under the direction of Sri Ramakrishna, she is going to adopt a mood of self-surrender. That means she is going to, nothing mine or nor me, this me and mine, this feeling is going to be removed from her mind. How she is going to perform that or do that sadhana is what this chapter is going to say. But before getting into the subject, what Swami Gambhiranji has done here is, he has explained little of those days in Dakshineswar, how it was so unhealthy, the water was so unhealthy. The water could not be drunk. If you drink that water, you get dysentery. So Sri Ramakrishna himself suffered from dysentery many times. And when Holy Mother has started staying there, she also suffered from dysentery. And for a woman, in those days there is no bathroom or anything. How difficult it was when you get a dysentery. And she was suffering and suffering and suffering, and it was going on. It is not stopping. And she became, finally, it became so serious, finally it became bedridden. And her life became danger. Then what to do? Then Master called, he said sorrowfully to Hriday, what is it all coming to, O Hriday? When mother is lying down like that and she is unable to get up and was almost in a dying condition, Master is talking loudly to Hriday. See the words he is using. Is she destined only to come and go and not do anything worthy of a human birth? As I told you earlier, that Sri Ramakrishna was always conscious of the purpose of Holy Mother's birth. He knew why she has come into this world. But this type of disease is going to take her life away, then he was stung. And he says, is she destined only to come and go? Just taking birth and then dying, that's all? Or something more she is going to do? Because he had expected so many things she would do. And that is what he knew, the purpose of Holy Mother's birth. So he says, and do anything worthy of a human birth? From this itself you can see, Sri Ramakrishna is hinting to Hriday, hey, don't think your mommy as an ordinary woman. She is going to do great thing in the future. And that's why she was born. And during the period of the relapse, mother became much more weaker and emaciated. You know, the first time at least you can manage, but when the dysentery attacks, second time it comes, and she has become very weak and emaciated. So, even none of the thing could cure her. Even the doctor's medicine could not do anything. And then the whole body was swollen, and she became like all bones. And she has been here she says, it was such a beautiful way of putting, one day she was near the pond and her reflection was there on the pond. And lying down there near the pond, looking at the reflection, she saw how she has become so emaciated. She has become lean and thin, only the bones are there. And all the beauty of the youth period is gone. She's looking at it, oh, why we are making so much fuss of this body? The body is like this. That great vairagya to the body that has come upon her. And then she is telling that, oh, now it may die also. I am ready to leave this body. She and her body are different. That realization she had on that day. But then Master was not very happy with her getting this dysentery again and again. And she says that Umesh, another brother, said, sister, there is a Simhavahini temple. Why don't you go and do some austerity there? It's a village deity, Simhavahini. Simhavahini means it's a Durga. Simha means lion. Vahini means one who rides the lion. So one who rides the lion. One who is sitting on the lion. Rides. R-I-D-E-S. Rides.
Oh, wise.
Rides. One who rides the lion. So Simhavahini, that is the name of the deity. There's a small temple is there. Even now the temple is there. If you go to Jairambati, you must visit the temple. So the temple is there. Then when Umesh suggested, she said, let me go. And then she went and lied down there. Fasting. The local woman from there next to her, she used to come there and whole night all alone she is staying there in the temple. It's a small house. The temple is only this much size, or rather smaller than this room. That's all. And there she was lying there, lying down. And after doing this austerity, one day she had the darshan of Simhavahini. And what she said, Simhavahini appeared to her in a dream. And she appeared in the form of a blacksmith girl of the age of Radhu, a 12 or 13 years old girl. She said, give her this medicine. This indeed will relieve her. Then that lady says, she said to me, apply to the eye drops of juice of the gourd flower made into a paste with salt. Her eyes have swollen and lot of the secretions from the eye, which has become very, very foul smelled, have all joined together and they were all lying there. Whatever you put, water, etc., it's not going. So it was getting a foul smell also. And when this medicine was applied, on that very day, eyes became very clear. Mother says, in those periods, I could not find difference between Purnima and Amavasya. That is full moon and the new moon. On the new moon night, what do you see? Do you see the moon?
No.
You don't see any moon, darkness. Full moon night also, she saw only the darkness. That means nothing, no vision was there. And when that medicine was applied, which was got in the dream, and immediately her eyes became completely normal. And the swollen body parts started slowly subsiding, and she became normal. And she says, there is the place where the temple was constructed, the mud is there. Nowadays what they have done is, they have made a small tank like that, and in that the mud is kept.
Okay.
So people go there and take some mud, only this much only. They put it in a small container and bring it back in the house. I have seen many of the devotees' houses, they keep the mud, little small like this, small container. And I have seen many of the swamis, very senior swamis, they keep it. They don't take medicines.
They eat
Some
that.
of the senior swamis here, they don't take medicines. Anything happens to them, they will take a pinch of salt, as they say, a pinch they will take and then put it in their mouth. And they feel cured. It's something divine. So, there is Swami Gambhiranji puts it here, divine intervention may be required in some cases. Not that everybody believes in this, and not that everybody is getting cured also, because it requires utmost, fullest surrender to the deity and with the faith.
That conviction.
That conviction. Then it works. And we have seen that many swamis I have seen with my own eyes, and they say that we don't want to take any medicine. I will take only this much and put it. So that mud is very famous. And we do not know why mother had to suffer so much. Perhaps from this incident we may reflect on this way, that before this incident happened, Simhavani was very little known to a few handful of people only.
Local people.
Local people only knew. Now internationally she is known. Now people from all over the places come to Simhavani temple. If you go to Jairambati, you must visit Simhavani temple. So people go there and take that mud and bring with them. So all over the world now, that mud from that Jairambati village has gone. So in many of the houses, recently I was in the USA, in the last year. So in the USA I went to a devotee's house for supper, and his mother was very, very elderly, 90-year-old lady, and she was quietly sitting there. And he showed me, he has got Simhavani's, that bati, a small one. So I took it and touched my head with that, so that's all. So you see that people, wherever it has gone, and people have got so much faith in that. And it's like a medicine. So they use that, yes. So he says that humanity has here, this is a reflection of Gambhirananji. Humanity has here a demonstration of the infallibility of divine intervention. This is something very beautifully he says. So the divine intervention works. Infallible means it will never fail. So those people with faith, they go there to a divine intervention, and it acts, and then it works. Like that many places we see. Recently I went to one place near Dublin only. I went to a chapel. It was a Christian church, and there at the side, that one saint picture is there. Not picture, statue is there. And under that the prayer is written there. And it is written there, whoever has got any type of physical or mental difficulties, challenges, those people come there and pray, and then light a lamp. Then those wishes are fulfilled by this saint. So people come, they stand in the queue, and they go and they put that lamp, they show 3 times and keep the lamp there. I also did the same thing, though I didn't want anything, but I kept that. And then I looked at that place, and the place was fully, rather it was vibrant with such a spiritual atmosphere. Jagruto we say in Bengal, it's an awakened place. So when you go there, you can see that. So it's such a beautiful way that we find it. So the Simhavani, the rider or the driver of Simha, that is the lion, the driver, that Simhavayini deity has become very powerful. Now, as we think of this incident, Holy Mother suffered so much of dysentery and she had to do the austerity of having fasting, etc. in the temple and laying down on that mud for so many days together. All these sufferings were meant as if to manifest the infallible divinity, he says. That not failing, that's called infallibility, never fail. And that divinity, the demonstration of that was perhaps necessary to the world. So when great people's lives, when we are reading, we understand that each of the life's incident has got some purpose and significance is there. So we can safely assume that now he says that that temple has become so famous and all around the spread of the fame happened, and then people started coming with their wishes of curing their diseases, and millions of people got cured. Even today it is happening, means you can understand. So people go there. Sometimes incurable diseases, for that also they go. But when people ask us, should we take that one? We always say, yes, go on with the faith, you take it. That we say that. But we never say, don't go and don't neglect your doctor. That also we say. Keep your doctor also with you. If you have the faith, full faith as Holy Mother had, then you don't need, it is true, you don't need any other medicine. If you want to get relief of your physical diseases, that is the medicine. That little pinch of that mud, you put it in your mouth and eat. So, when we went there, I stayed in Jairambati for some months, so I also took it. And every day I used to take one, just very small piece of that mud. And we see that how it is creating such a great atmosphere, and Holy Mother was blessed. So, he says that encouraged by the mother's success, because mother got success, relieved of her dysentery disease, then others too offered vows to the deity and got their wishes fulfilled thereby. This, as also the efficacy of that earth in curing diseases, spread the fame of Simhavayini all around, drawing even to this day numbers of pilgrims to her shrine. Many people go to Jairambati, and some of the people, knowing the wonderful cure of Mother, so they go there to Jairambati only to visit the Simhavayini temple. And they go there to puja and also, and lot of manath, wishes are done there. You can see people coming there who do not have children. They go there and pray for children, and they go there to pray for incurable diseases like cancer, etc. So what lot of wishes are there, and lot of things people have in their minds. So they go there and then they get their wishes fulfilled. That's such a beautiful way, as Swami Gambhirananji has written to us in this book, that we can understand how this particular incident was necessary in the life of Holy Mother. Though she suffered a lot, all for us. So we could know that yes, this is the importance of Simhavayini.